The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. It's Eddie Brennis here coming to you live from Waterloo, Ontario. Guys, I hope everyone's having a fantastic Saturday. I'm super revved up for this call. It's rare to get Rene on a call and be able to just ask him any questions we want to ask him. And now we get to do that today. And who better than to ask than the youngest millionaire in global wealth trade, guys. Rene has created some incredible success for himself. He's created over 100 million in residual income per month, and that's less than or that's more than what people make in a year. So that's just incredible there on its own. Rene's been doing this for about 10 years now. He's a shareholder in the company. He's an international trainer and presenter, which is huge because he's not just creating success for himself, but he's helping people all over the world create success. And guys, that's not an easy task to do when you really wrap your head around it. To create success in your own life, yes, that could be quite simple. But now you've got some other people's lives to hold accountable to. So for Rene, he's been able to do that with hundreds and hundreds of people. He has over 10,000 distributors in his downline, which is a phenomenal achievement as well. He's also a multiple award winner in global wealth trade, and he holds the President Cup award as well, which is the highest honor that you can get in global wealth trade. So, guys, without further ado, I want to have Rene on the call. So, just to give you guys a couple, just an idea of how today is going to look like. I will be interviewing Rene, asking him some really great questions. And if you guys did have any questions that you wanted to ask him, type it in the question box. And if we have time towards the end, I would be more than glad to ask Rene those questions. So I will unmute you now, Rene. Rene, can you hear me?
Yes, good morning, Eddie. Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely. Good morning, Rene. How's everything going?
It's wonderful. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. It's really excited. Convention's coming up soon, and just can't wait to do this call with you, man. Thank you for inviting me to be a speaker today.
Oh no, man! Thank you for being able to get on this call. I know you're super busy, so I appreciate it, and I look forward for all the knowledge that you're going to share. So, guys, if you don't have a pen and paper ready, get one out right now because this is about to be a booming call. All right, Rene. So,
Thank you.
I did speak a little bit about yourself, but you have so many different accolades, right? That I'd be here for hours. So, can you tell us all a little bit about your background before you entered in GWT, and then how you came across GWT, and then I'd like you
Sure.
to also mention why you even decided to do GWT.
Okay, well, actually, let me share my story a little bit different today, and I actually shared my story differently just a few nights ago. And again, a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. First of all, to anyone who is on the call, thank you for being here. I know that you could be doing other stuff, but you're here because you're serious about your business. You want change, and for me to have in my younger years to get access to someone who was very successful was never easy. So I hope that I can really provide you guys a lot of good information today. What's really funny about my story is some of you might think that when I first got started that I was looking for this opportunity, that I was looking for GWT. That could not be farther from the truth. In fact, when I first got introduced to GWT, I had already been pretty much burnt, tired, worn out from my previous two companies. So for those of you, to share more like my real personal story that I don't always share on stage because I don't have so much time on stage, but my first two companies, my sister was the one who actually introduced me to those first two companies. And my first company was a health and wellness company called USANA. Again, was 23, loved the concept. I've always loved the concept of network marketing, and I still love the concept today. It's the best industry out there that gives the average person a serious chance to build wealth. Because think about it, just really think about it yourself. How many people out there have the funds, have the experience, and the money enough to actually start a huge business. Not a lot. So network marketing has always been the most safest vehicle, low startup cost for the average person to get into. So anyways, for me, USANA was my first company, was health and wellness, loved the gaming industry, and initially loved, tried it for the products. And it wasn't, but for me, it was always about doing the business seriously. But long story short, after 2 years of building that business, I probably sponsored about 30 people, went up a few ranks, whatever. But when I went to Malaysia at the age of 24 to go and build that business was when I really got a bad taste in my mouth of the kind of competition there is in MLM. And so when USANA was launching in Malaysia, there was like 4 other companies launching at the same time into Malaysia. And so I got really turned off, just the whole stuff about, well, we have better products, we have more antioxidants. So just the amount of competition really gave me a bad experience. And that's when I realized that it's not really how big your team is, it's how many of them can stay with you after a few years. And the average for, again, on a DSA for retention when it comes to health products is less than 12%. So the 30 people I personally introduced, after a few months to a year, about 10 were left. So I couldn't imagine how long I had to build this business for to make a home run. So yeah, so I left that company and vowed never again to do health and wellness because it just didn't make sense. 100 million people in the world in direct sales, and 90% of them are all in health and wellness. So my second company that my sister introduced me to was a travel company. It was the first travel network marketing company in Toronto. And for me, the only reason why I did that company was because there was no other travel companies in Toronto doing it at that time. And so I got started, life was great, team grew really quickly, and of course, was making some good money. But what happened was within half a year to a year later, another company came out and copied my travel company. So now we had 2 travel companies in Toronto, and 2 things happened. One, some of my downline in my team realized that there was a new company and they did not want to be at the bottom of this company. They thought, why not move over and be the top? So I lost some people that way. And then the second thing that happened was some of the top leaders were really smart. They knew that people would be leaving. So they thought, why not leave first? Why not leave first? And then basically, and then take my team with them. So they actually took a bunch of my team with them. And so that's when I lost even more people. So I pretty much realized that, oh my goodness, as long as you have a risk of another company copying what you're doing, you will never really have this thing called a safe home. You're always at risk of having someone else copy your company and your team leaving. So basically, at that point in time, after that company was done, I had pretty much agreed to myself to never, ever do network marketing in a company that could be easily copied. Okay, I hope I'm making sense here, right? And so then by the time it was my third company, and the third opportunity my sister showed me to was this company. And the only reason why I got started, even though I promised to never ever do it again, the only reason why I said yes to it was because I knew that being in the travel, in the jewelry industry, getting access to these kind of products was very, very hard. So I knew that it was very hard to have access to the travel industry, if that makes sense, right, guys? So that's right, I'm saying all wrong, to the jewelry industry. So I knew that it was very tough to have access to manufacturing jewelry. And so my point is this, folks, till today, 10 years later, we are still the only company, the 2,000 companies in direct sales that is doing what we're doing. And if you wonder to yourself, well, why have we not been copied? Why has no other designer in the world come out and done what we've done? It's very simple, the answer. And the answer, if you're ready for it, is because it's just too darn costly. It's too darn costly. Think about this. Louis Vuitton, LV, made $34 billion last year. $34 billion. They're the richest family in Europe, okay? Now imagine this. In our company, every dollar that the company makes, 75% is paid back out to the field. So our payout is 75%. Do you think these owners of Louis Vuitton, the richest family in Europe, will one day decide to give 75% of their profits to the average person? You know, of course not, right? Absolutely not. So the reality is that the only reason why this company exists today is because our CEO has the access to the manufacturers since the 1880s, and he loves network marketing. And so we're so far ahead. But yeah, that's kind of, so when I first came in, again, I was not looking for this. I was not excited. I told my sister when I heard it was jewelry, I said, Monica, I'm not interested. So if you have people you talk to out there who decline you the first time, don't give up on those people. Because the people that you talk to, they don't understand GWT until they've sat down with you, watched a few videos, okay, and have done a call with your MiFi. So to me, if you book prospects and they have not seen the presentation or seen the videos, okay, and have not talked to one of your MiFi, like myself or Eddie or Maria and Liaw and Sherry and Reza and Jeanette, it doesn't count. Because when I first was approached by my sister Monica, I said, I'm not interested. Had she given up on me at that point in time and let me go, I would not be here today. But she insisted I come and take a look. I got a chance to ask my questions with senior people, and that's why I'm here today. So wow. Eddie, hopefully a bit of a long story there.
I already have a full page of notes written out just from that. That's I love that, and you really got to explain why network marketing is so important, and then B, why GWT is so unique. And I've heard it from time and time again, but just now you really were able to clarify that the reason why we're the #1 company in network marketing, A, is because no one else can touch us, no one else can do what we do, and B, it's because it's costly, right? So guys, remember that when you're talking to another person that's in network marketing and why we're unique. Which kind of brings me to another question I wanted to ask you, Rene. When you are speaking with another network marketer who's in the industry, or let's just say anyone that you're talking to about GWT, and they are a little bit skeptical, I know that you would focus mainly on expressing to them that, hey, this is a unique opportunity because we are a fashion designer brand in the network marketing industry. But what other things would you touch on with them to really open up their mind and to be a little bit more mindful of this is gold right here? What are some things that you would touch on?
That's a great question, Eddie. That's a great question. And it's funny because actually this coming Sunday I was going to do a training specifically more on that. Because it's a thing that I realize a lot of people are coming across is how do I talk to people who are in different companies, right? And so, all in all, here's a few things that I do when I'm talking to other people. And so, please take some notes so I can really share with you guys how I do it. So, all in all, when I talk to other people in other companies, rule number one, write this down. Never, ever, ever, when you first meet someone else in a different company, your first target of that meeting is to become their best friend. Is to build that friendship like you've never built it before. So I don't want you to go to a meeting trying to, never, ever put down someone else in their company. And I think the biggest mistake people make when they meet someone else in a different company is they try to shoot down or basically talk badly about what that person is doing. That's probably the worst thing you can do. And the reason why is because when you insult someone else by saying they have bad products or they have a bad plan, especially if you just you just met them, that's how you instantly kill the business. When I meet people at different companies, I never ever say anything bad about their company. My main target, my main goal when I meet people is to try to build that like and trust and become like their best friends, right? To make sure that they realize, hey, we are all in this together, that we're all here to make money in network marketing, and that I really want them to have huge success, in in their business, right? So, for me, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here is I'm really trying to build up the relationship so that they understand that we're all in the same boat, that me and them are no different, that we all have the same goal, which is, again, we all want to build and make a lot of money in network marketing. And so once I actually do that, what people, happens is that they then lower their guard. Okay, so they won't get upset, they won't be defensive, they will actually lower their guard, and you won't feel like they're kind of competing against you. So I hope that makes sense, guys. First of all, really, and I see it so many times, people come off too strong, or they're not listening to the prospect, they're not building that friendship first, and they basically try to make it look like that person has chose the wrong opportunity and that they have the best one. You can never do that. If you do that, there's no point in you even meeting them, because they will be upset with you, not happy with you. So again, rule number one is build that friendship like you have never built like in trust before. Number two, never say anything bad at the beginning, okay, of what they're doing. So that's step one, and really get that part through your head, okay? Step two, though, is here's what I do next, is when I meet someone, and we're talking about what we're doing, basically they usually want to share with you what they're doing, right? Which usually is going to be like a health company or a travel company. And the one thing that I do when people start talking to me about what they're doing, because sometimes we might have agreed to meet up to share with each other what we're doing. One thing that I do like to do is to compliment them on their company's products. Okay, so for example, I met someone who was doing skincare, right? And they're always so excited to share with you about their skincare stuff, right? And so the one thing that I do, off the bat is, hey, here's what I say, and I want you to write it down and say exactly the way I say it, okay? Because it's very important. What I say is, hey, I completely believe that, and I agree that you have great products. In fact, for me, I believe that any company that has been around for more than 5 years, okay, any company that's been around for more than 5 years, I truly believe they have great products, because a company would not still be around 5 years later if they do not have good products, right? So this is all logical stuff, right? This is all logical, concept I'm talking about. It's nothing weird here. It just makes sense. The company has been around in our marketing for 5 years. They've got to have some decent products, especially if it's 10 years, right? They've got to have some decent kind of products, right? So that's the first thing to write down, guys, and to mention that, because the whole psychology of what I'm trying to do here is I want them to realize that I'm not biased in products. That I'm not going to be, biased and think mine is better than yours, kind of thing. Okay, so I tell people, I believe any company. So I believe, hey, I believe you have great vitamins. I believe you have great weight loss. I believe you have great skincare. I believe you have great coffee, right? So, and what I say is, but then what I say afterwards though is, this is probably even more important. Okay, so again, write this down. Is I tell people, so what my mentors have taught me, so you can say that, right? So what my mentors have taught me is there's so many great companies out there, and the question becomes, how do you know which one to choose, right? How do you know which company to choose, given that all these companies have great products? So write this down, right? So I'm telling the person I'm talking to, right? I'm saying, so given that all these companies have great products or great services, because we wouldn't be with these companies if they didn't, right? Well, how do we know which company to pick, to choose to build a long-term income? Given that I can find any company that has great products, and write this down, folks, and given that I can find any company that has top leaders, because every company has a top leader, who hopefully I can find and meet these top leaders and say, hey, you know what? You're a top leader. Can you show me exactly what you've done to get to where you are? and teach me what you've done, and I will learn from you. So given, number one, that all companies have great products, given, number two, that I can meet a top leader in that company and say, hey, you know what? I want to be your next star. Teach me to do what you've done, okay? Given those two things, well, how do you choose which company to build with? And what you can say is what I have learned or what I've studied, what my mentors have taught me, okay, is if all companies are equal, have great products, if all companies can find a mentor to teach me, logically, I should choose the one that pays me more per person. I should choose the one that pays me more per person. So if 100 people in company ABC pays me 100 a month of residual income, and company XYZ pays me $800 a month with the same 100 people, the same effort, same people, I can get paid more income, more residual income, not bonuses. I tell people straight, people, a side note, okay? Write down on your notes, side note. If someone tries to talk to you about bonuses, I want you to be strong here. Cut them off and say, you know what? Personally, for me, I'm not in this for the bonuses. I'm not in this for the bonuses because the bonuses come once and they're gone. So I am here to make long-term passive income. Okay, I am not here to make bonuses that come this month and are gone the next month. Okay, so it's very important, folks, because sometimes a lot of companies have a lot of shiny bonuses. Okay, and it's important that we understand that when we're talking to other people in different companies, that a lot of their plans are heavily focuses on bonuses, and we have great bonuses too. But my main thing is I'm not here to make bonuses because bonuses do not allow me to spend time with my family in the future. Bonuses do not allow me the time and freedom to travel the world with who I want, when I want. Bonuses do not give me that stable safety income that is a month-to-month income, right? So what I want is residual income. So again, given the products are the same, given I can find a great leader to train me in that system, to me, the way I should pick and choose a company to build what is, number one, which one pays me more in residual income for the exact same effort? And folks, rest assured, I've done my homework. You can see my website. I've compared hundreds and hundreds of different compensation plans. GWT will always be the highest paying compensation plan in residual income. Why is that? It's super simple. We have naturally high profit margin products. And these are things I want you to be saying to people that we have. And this is a bit of an advanced training, but I believe that you guys actually need it. I tell people we have the highest paying comp plan per person, and I can show you how that works because our products are the most highest natural high profit margin products. For example, vitamins, coffees, skincare, the markup is not going to be anywhere close to a markup as, for example, jewelry and fashion, right? For example, I like to use this as one example. Ever walk into the mall and see jewelry stores or some fashion bag stores, LV, Gucci? They're not always full. In fact, during most weekdays, they're empty. But they can make one sale of one ring or one bag or a few bags, a few rings, and cover the whole month rent. Meanwhile, the next door GNC company, they have to sell hundreds of health products in order to make back some good profits, right? So we have the most natural high profit margin products. So to me, what I tell people is, look, for me, I think for us, we should find a company, not based upon our passion for the products, because passion for the products will not make you residual income. Passion for your products makes you like the products. It won't guarantee you your income. What we have to look at is which one pays us more for the efforts. And this is probably even more important than the first one. Write this down. The second thing we have to look for in an opportunity, aside from which one pays you more for residual income, is which one can last longer, which one has more retention ratio, has more long-term stability, right? I know a lot of people out there, folks, who can make a great six-figure, seven-figure income their first year, but it won't last a year two or year three, right? So to me, it's not really about how big is your team. It's more about how stable is it, how many of them stay with you, right? So again, given the average on the DSA is 12%, for myself, I can share with you guys, 9 years I've been doing this now, this company, my retention ratio is hovering at 68 point something percent. I've met dozens of top earners. They'll admit to you, they have never seen any company where their guy has been in the company for close to 9 years now and still has a retention ratio, okay, of 68%. That is literally 600% more than the average. In fact, to be frank with you guys, I don't know, like I've been in direct sales now for 12 years. I can't think of one person that I've met in 12 years that was a top earner and is still with the same company. They've all had to move on. Why? Because retention sucks. And so to me, there's two main things I look for in picking an opportunity. One is how much can I make in residual income for the exact same effort, okay? And number two, which one has more retention? And that's why that's what I say to people. So now the person I'm talking to, in most cases, we don't even get to them sharing with me their products because they know that the reason why I'm here is not to lose weight. They know the reason why I'm here is not to have better skin. They know the reason why I'm here is not to, have more vitamins or whatever. They know I am here in network marketing is because I want to provide for my family. I want to have a great income because that's why we are all in network marketing, right? If people were network marketing for the products, they would not be meeting with you. They'd just be taking the products for themselves, right? The people you're meeting, okay, for your business meetings is because they're actually doing the business, right? If they weren't doing the business, they wouldn't be meeting you. They would just be taking their products. So all in all, the people that I talk to, we hardly ever even get to, hearing about their products because they already know, wow, Rene, this guy's here because he wants to make money and he wants me to make money because he said that we're on the same boat together. And it sounds like he has something very special and everything that he said was logical. So let's hear what Rene has to say. Yeah, so so my main thing is I never say anything bad. If you notice, everything I've taught you so far today did not involve me saying one thing negative about their company. In fact, I said they have great products, they have great service, but they realized that I'm here to make money and they understood the logic behind my criteria and they want to know more about our company. So there's a few more things I can train on, but I don't want to go too deep. Let me just turn the phone back to Eddie.
Rene,
Are you still there, buddy?
yeah, all I've got to say is those were some really huge golden nuggets you just dropped. I took a bunch of
Thank you.
notes. I really love how you actually speak with another network marketer on a friend-to-friend basis. So, guys, everyone on the call, after this call, you should be connecting with network marketers on a totally new level. Build a relationship with them, and then eventually you can set up a meeting or a Skype call and focus on the two things that Rene just mentioned, right? Retention, and also your how many people or how much you get paid per person, which is huge. I've known that for a while, and Rene, you explaining it the way you explained, that was just phenomenal. I've never heard it explained like that. So thank you for that. And I have another question here for you, Rene. So you've obviously built a team of over 10,000 people. I don't know the exact number. I feel like it's probably 15,000.
16,000. 16,000
16,000.
now.
Wow, that's phenomenal. 16,000 is a huge number. And, of course, a lot of that, like the reason that grew to that was obviously duplication, right? So my question to you is how exactly were you able to duplicate people? And, for the audience listening, how would you, define duplication in network marketing for some people that won't understand the concept?
Okay, you know what? I'm so glad you asked that question because I feel like some of you might have heard different trainers in different companies, perhaps, who try to teach duplication. If you ever hear a training from someone, by the way, and please remember this, if you ever hear a training from someone in the industry and they're trying to coach you on network marketing, ask yourself, are these people still in the same company? So are these people still making money in their previous network marketing company? Because to me, you can't be teaching, duplication if you don't have ongoing income still from your previous business, right? Because it meant that it died out. So I hope that makes sense logically, number one. So, but to me, a lot of these other network marketers, what they try to do sometimes, they try to create duplication with all these fancy systems. They try to duplicate, say, hey, we have an amazing system. Put your person and plug them into the system, and all of a sudden you're going to have 10 of them coming out. No, believe me, network marketing. This is not internet marketing, right? We're not just selling stuff online and we never meet people. If you, internet marketing is not about. If you really think about it, there's not really longevity in internet marketing. What you want, what we're doing is called network marketing. Network marketing involves talking to people. And so for me, you can go to the beach when you have enough people who have been able to duplicate, which means do what you do. Duplication is, can they do what you do, right? And so the best way for someone to learn to do what I did was I had to be present, either on in person or on three phone calls, Skype, webinar, whatever. And to have people hear what I'm saying. So I had to sit down in a lot of meetings with my senior people, which back then happened to be the VP of Products and Ads and the CEO himself, Rene. And I sat and I learned, and what they said, I just learned. It's like a monkey see, monkey do. Learn from what they say, and that's how I became who I am, because I knew that I didn't have the answers. I was not the expert. If I tried to be the expert, it would look horrible. So what I knew was I had to basically leverage someone else's expertise. So I knew that for me to have success, I had to be able to basically, essentially, learn from an expert. And so what I did, though, was I basically would shadow and listen to whenever Ramin, or Sinaz were speaking, right? So for you guys out there, and if you want to duplicate yourselves, is number one, you have to learn the things that I'm teaching you today, right? Because over time, hearing this enough times, playing back the recording enough times, you will eventually make it your own. Believe me, you will eventually make it your own. You'll eventually become yours. You eventually will become strong enough yourself and say exactly what I said, because that's what happened for me. And once you've learned it, now when you have meetings with your teams, you're saying the same thing that I'm saying, and now they're learning from you. So that is what duplication is all about. It's not about, yes, we have systems that can train you, and it's a great starting point. But whenever I train someone or I have them watch a video, I always say, take some notes down, call me back when you're done, and we're going to answer any question that you might have. So understand that the more you are seeing in front of your team, the more you are seeing training, the more that you are leveraging your experts in your MI5, and the more that you learn that, the sooner you can teach your team, and the sooner that they can rise up and become leaders themselves. Now, will everyone do that? Of course not, right? Like, let me be straightforward here, right? Not everyone is going to, rise up and there's never a 100% duplication ratio. Why is that? Because people are people, right? We, as much as we can do, we cannot control and predict whether someone will actually duplicate us or not, right? It's impossible. So understand that. So for me, I just knew that by putting myself in front of enough people and training and doing enough training in front of enough people, that eventually I would, find a few people who wanted to duplicate me. And that's exactly what I did. Okay, so that's what I did to create duplication, Eddie.
Wow, that's phenomenal. So essentially, just I like how you define that. I've never actually heard it defined like that. Duplication is simply just getting people to do what you do. And more importantly, I like how you mentioned that not everyone's going to do it, because even from my experience, I know a lot of the people that I've sponsored in the past 3 years, a lot of them haven't duplicated. And I can see that a big reason for that was, I wasn't present. So guys, huge tip here. If you guys want to duplicate, you have to be present. You have to be present on these calls. You have to be present at boot camps. You have to be present at convention. You have to be present at all these different events so that you can now duplicate that to your team. And eventually, as you're presenting and you're meeting other people, like Rene said, you'll find people that want to duplicate you, and people like Liaw that has been duplicated, and Maria, and so on and so on. So huge tip for duplication. And if you guys want to grow a team to over 16,000, and if you want to make over 100,000 in residual income a month, then focus on being present and duplicating. So Rene, I got another really great question for you. So what's you have tons of mentors, right? So who's a mentor that the past 10 years that you've really looked up to, and what's the biggest thing that you've been able to take away from them?
Okay, great question. For me, I've been pretty fortunate, I guess, to have had our CEO mentor me. However, within the first few months, he got really busy. And so, for me, one thing I've always done in my initial years to stay motivated, as well about motivation as well too, was just by having a lot of audio, audio CDs in my car from, people like Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar, and different, Brian Tracy and, Les Brown. And I just would always love to play these things, right? And so to me, there's coaching and mentoring are two different things, right? And so there's mentoring, there's coaching, and there's training. A trainer can just take any information. They might not be good at it, but they can train it. So someone can train the comp plan. They might not be good in the business, but they understand the comp plan really well. They can train it. That's trainers. A coach basically will guide, a coach understands your business very well, okay? And they can guide you in the business. So it's very important that you have a coach in this business, which is usually your MI5, because they know the business very well. They can tell you where you're weak at. Because, think about a coach in a basketball team. He will identify where you're weak at and help you get better at that area, right? That's a coach. But a mentor sometimes has no clue, really, of what you're doing in your business. A mentor is a lot of times there for the personal motivation side of things. So for me, the mentoring and the personal motivation, I got a lot from, those audio CDs, Zig Ziglar, the ones I just mentioned right now, right? And the coaching, whenever I had a question, I would just ask my senior. So you can always ask your MI5 for coaching in terms of what's my next step in the business. But again, that's different than personal motivation. In fact, if you want to just understand personal motivation, to become self-motivated is very powerful. So if you can, train yourself so you can motivate yourself by watching enough training CDs and audio CDs. So there's a saying where if you watch one personal motivation video the first thing in the morning, and you watch it for 45 days, you will naturally become self-motivated. And so I hope that answers the question, which is, you'll need coaching in the business in terms of asking us what's your next step. But okay, if you're not motivated, then that's what's called the mentoring side and the motivation side. Okay, back to you, Eddie.
Awesome. And actually, on that note, Rene, I love how you spoke about personal development, and I like that technique. And I've heard it somewhere where you listen to motivational videos for 45 days. You essentially just adapt what you see in those videos, and being self-motivated is one of the biggest things that I've learned. So I wanted to ask you, how important do you think personal development is when you want to grow Global Wealth, or when you want to grow your GWT business?
To me, personal development is not just important for the business, it's important for your life. And a mentor is really there to help you, not necessarily in business, but a mentor can be there to help you in any aspect of your life. So to me, personal development, which involves motivation, is important regardless of GWT or not. because you want to become better as a person. You want to expand as a person. So, for me, it is so important that you're always working on yourself. And by working on yourself, you will naturally see how that benefits you in a business.
Wow, well said. Okay, I got that. So, guys, super, super important to be focusing on personal development, whether that's reading a book, watching a video, and like Rene mentioned, a mentor is huge to have. I know myself, there's a huge difference in my lifestyle when I'm connected with my mentors versus not being connected with my mentors. And I've seen a huge shift recently, especially because I've been connecting with Rene more, I've been connecting with Liaw more and Maria, and I have this positive energy coming from both or all three of them. Plus, they're giving me phenomenal advice on what to do to grow my business. So, super, super important to stay connected with people like Rene, Liaw, Maria, and even myself. If you're on my team, I'm always open to provide any advice or motivation that you guys need. So Rene, I got one or two more questions. I know we're getting close to 1 p.m. and I did promise everyone it's going to be an hour-long call. So there's a question that I really wanted to ask you, and I know it's really cliche, I guess you could say, because a lot of people will ask this question. But I don't think I've ever asked you this, and I know that a lot of people on this call will definitely be open to hearing what you have to say. So, question is, what's the number one obstacle that you've had to face while building GWT, and how did you overcome that obstacle?
That's a great question, Eddie. The number one obstacle that I've had, um, I would say it's I think there's a thing that we all experience called fear, and fear comes in many shapes and forms and sizes, and fear just stands for false evidence appearing real. So false evidence appearing real, right? And so for me, I think not just my obstacle, but everyone's obstacle is related to some kind of fear that they have, some shape or form, and it's different for every person. And for me, some of my fear initially was talking to people. Some of my fear was I was worrying about what they were thinking about me. I was always what's out, just how you explain it. I was always trying to put myself in their shoe, and I was always thinking, I guess, the worst. You know what I mean? So I was worried about how they would judge me and how they would see me. So that was part of my fear. I had a fear initially of talking in front of a room, of presenting. Like me trying to be on this training call 9 years ago, forget about it, right? Fear of how, again, people would judge me, fear if people would say no to me, fear of not being successful, fear of not having money. I mean, hey, but again, I want you to understand that this is just part of being human. And if you don't have these fears, you're not going to be human. And so all of us have some kind of fear. So obstacles, there are many, but that's where when you have good motivation, good personal development, and a coach like your My5 who's here to help you, it will help you combat and sort of, what's the word called, excel and propel through your fears, and eventually you'll conquer your fears. So, I don't think you ever really, in the word term, conquer your fears. I think you just get used to them. So hopefully that helps you guys.
Wow, I really like how you put that last part there, Renee, because it's true. You can never really conquer your fear. You're always going to have that fear in your subconscious mind, essentially. But you just start to get comfortable with it, and it just becomes the norm, right? So,
Oh yeah, for example, when I go in front of a room sometimes, even 9 years later, do I still get some weird butterflies from some fear? Of course you do, right? But it's you get used to it so quickly. So literally, within 2 seconds of being on stage, and that fear comes in, it's gone. It's because I just got used to it. So it's not that I completely conquered it and it never happens again, or that even today, sometimes when I'm approaching someone, do I still have a fear of rejection? Maybe for like 2 seconds, So, but instead of having like a 1 hour fear, it's now become like, a 2 second fear. And then I realized that it's gone. So yeah, to me, it's you never really conquer it. You just kind of you just get used to it. Yeah. Back to you, Eddie.
Awesome, awesome. I love it. Rene, so I know it's almost 1 p.m. here in Eastern Standard Time. And I know that you're a super busy guy. So I just want to ask you one final question that actually Carol from the Netherlands asked me to ask, and I think it's a phenomenal question to ask. And I think I would love for you to answer it based on, people that are hungry, people that are willing to do whatever it takes in order to create freedom in their life. And the question is, what daily habits can one practice that would contribute towards being successful with GWT?
Well, that's a fun question. Okay, so one daily habit. Let me just ponder on this because there's a few things I do on a daily basis to sort of ensure that I'm doing the right stuff. Oh, here's one. I think probably the one that I do most often because oftentimes, I got two boys. I'm really active being their dads and swimming and Chinese schools, that kind of stuff. And a lot of times you get pretty tired, and you might be feeling a bit, a bit, not super sky high. And and before I used to let my emotions or the way I felt that day kind of dictate what business I did. So if I wasn't feeling sky high, super happy, I wouldn't do business. I'd maybe go and I don't know, go to the bar or whatever, or go play some games. So one thing that I started to do was in the morning when I woke up was just some positive affirmations of my day. So even today when I'm going to do a meeting, if I'm not feeling like super motivated for whatever reason, I literally think to myself, hey, can I change someone's life today? Can I be a positive impact for someone's life? Is there some way where I can make someone, that I can empower their lives? So anything that I can do to, make someone's life richer. So for example, I might be going to a meeting, and I'll be super tired, but just the thought that I might be able to talk to this person and maybe not even today, but maybe it's like a year from now, or even 5 years from now, or 10 years from now, to know that there's a possibility that I might have a positive impact on this person's life, that motivates me. It really drives me. So, because what human beings, we can do things for others. We naturally want to help people. That's just human beings, and we naturally want to help others, and we actually get energy from helping others, right? So, for example, a lot of these massive, disasters in the world, people will, for charity, out of their own pocket, fly to the countries, and they'll work day in, day out, digging people out of earthquakes, or be in scorching hot lands in Africa, and even though they're exhausted, they get so much energy because they know they're helping someone else. So to me, in the morning, I ask myself, hey, how many lives can I impact today? And again, it just naturally, it gives me that huge kick of motivation. And I'm not attached now to the result. I'm not worried about this person, whether they join the business or not, or they launched a video or not. I'm not attached to that. I'm more attached to, hey, is there any way I can meet this person and somehow provide some kind of a shift in their mindset or an opportunity that might change their life forever. So that's what works for me the most. Back to you.
Awesome, Renee. I love it. I love it. And that's a wicked daily habit to practice because I know, like you mentioned, it's it's fear always comes into your life, right? And practicing that, you could really get rid of that. And I like how you mentioned you're not attached to the outcome if they join or not. So practicing that, I could really see how helpful that would be. So Renee, I want to take this time now to thank you tremendously for being on this call. I could probably speak for everyone that this was just a phenomenal call. There was such value here, and Renee, the knowledge you have to share is just, you know, unbelievable. I don't even, I'm speechless myself. So, I want to thank you, so
Thank you.
much. And Rene, if there's anything else that you want to leave anyone with, go right ahead.
I guess the one thing that kept ringing on my head as I was talking tonight, and I'm not sure if it's going to make sense for you, but it's a saying that the CEO always likes to use. It is, if it's to be, it's up to me. You know, if you really want change in your life and you just realize that the only one stopping you from attaining, everything you've ever wanted in life is you. And once you really accept that, you will stop looking for excuses. You stop, pointing the finger, blaming others. You realize that, hey, it doesn't matter what circumstance you're in. It doesn't matter, how bad of a situation you're in. It doesn't matter how gloom or doom you think things are, or how happy things are. End of the day, whatever you have today is a result of you. And whatever you want to have in 5 years from now is going to be completely 100% up to you. And so, for me, I've always had this goal, and I never wanted to leave this world thinking that I should have done better. I want to leave this world knowing that I've done everything that I could to my power, for my family, for myself. So I've always had that, and after the CEO said it, it always just motivated me. If it's to be, it's up to me. And that's all. Thanks, Eddie.
Wow, great mindset to have. Renee, again, thank you so much for sharing everything you did. And guys, for those of you who are coming to convention, you'll be able to meet Renee personally. He's going to be there, which kind
Oh, of
of,
course.
yeah, which brings me to my next slide here. I just got a few announcements, guys. So first one, free upgrade to gold. Guys, if you haven't heard the news, if you upgrade to Plankston right now, if you're not at Plankston, you will be able to get a free upgrade to gold. I don't know when the timeline is because there isn't one. It could happen today, it could happen tomorrow, it could happen the next day. We just don't know. So make sure you get to Plankston. And just to give you an idea of why this is happening, it's because we're now going down to 4 packages versus 5. So we're going to have the retailer still, and then we're getting rid of the silver and Plankston, and we're creating Palladium, and then we're going to have the gold and then the diamond. So that would be retailer, Palladium, gold, and diamond. So if what Ramin has mentioned as a bonus for everyone is if you upgrade to Plankston, you will be able to get a free upgrade to gold. So guys, get to Plankston ASAP, so you get that free upgrade to gold, which is a huge benefit because it increases the amount of the percentage of income and residually that you will be making. So get to Plankston so you can get that free upgrade to gold. And I know a lot of people have done that already, so congratulations for those who have. Now, second announcement would obviously be convention. Guys, convention is coming up on the 7th all the way to the 9th. For those of you guys who are attending, I will see you there. Then for those who unfortunately could not make it, we do have a live broadcast. Now, to get to the live broadcast, go to your back office and there'll be a banner on the top. It'll be one of the first slides that you see. Click on that banner. It'll take you here to the live streaming section, and then you can pay by PayPal or you can pay by credit card. Guys, it's only $99. $99 to get a phenomenal convention. I think is worth it. You're going to get some value. You're going to hear from speakers. You're going to see the fashion show, even the award ceremony at the gala. Guys, if you're from the Netherlands or anywhere around the world, make sure you tune in. Get the team in one place, have some drinks, have some food, any type of beverage, and just sit down, tune in, and just plug yourself in, because this is going to be a monumental convention. It's the 10th anniversary, and I've been speaking with Rene a lot the past couple days, and he obviously knows what's going to be happening, and he hasn't said anything, but he keeps getting me hyped up about it. So I'm super excited to hear what's going to happen. So make sure you guys get on the live stream if you're not able to make it to convention. And lastly, guys, Sunday night webinar. super, super important to be on these all the time. If you guys have new members who aren't on the call today, promote the webinar. I heard a really great quote from another superstar in the industry that said, you know, a great network marketer will always promote the next event. So guys, your job as a network marketer is to always promote the next event to your team. So Sunday night webinar, 2:45 Eastern Standard Time for those people that are in Europe or in other different time zones, and then for people in Canada, the United States, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure to promote this to your team, guys, if they're not on the call. And what I'll do now is open up the call for any questions. If you have any questions, you can ask myself. Just type it into the question box, and then we'll go from there. I know it's 5 minutes to 1, so if you guys have any questions, just quickly type them in. We'll get them answered. And we'll make sure that we can go on our way from there. So I'll give just a few seconds for that. Okay, so I see no one has questions. Guys, I want to thank everyone for being on the call. You know, I want you guys to recognize that, you know, if you're on this call, you truly, truly, truly have a hunger for freedom. So give your guys self a pat on the back, because that's a huge achievement, because you could be doing 110 million different things right now. But you guys decided to be on this call, listen to what Rene has to say, and that's what makes people successful. Remember what Rene said, what about duplication. You want to be present, and being on these calls, being present on these calls, taking notes, that's being present. You're going to be able to duplicate your team. And let's be serious, guys. You want to create freedom in your life. You know, the math is create as many or help as many people as you possibly can. So show this opportunity to as many people. And once you reach, you know, 10,000 distributors or 10,000 plus distributors, you're at freedom now. And the only way to do that is duplication. Like Rene said, he's got a team of 16,000 people, and that was all possible because he was present and he was able to duplicate and find people that wanted to be duplicated. So remember that number one tip, huge, huge, huge.
Eddie, I want to just send a personal thank you because, I think it's just incredible leadership that you actually, took your time to put this call together. I wish I had, in my other companies, a upline like you who would be there to put calls, to train calls for me, because, guys, don't take advantage, no, don't take lightly the kind of leadership you have from people like Eddie. In my last two companies, I had to go and find someone to teach me, and here you have Eddie who's arranging these calls for you. So again, big ups for you, Eddie. Thank you so much, my friend.
Awesome. Thank you, Rene. Thank you. And that's what it's all about, guys. You know, and eventually you're going to be in my position. You're going to be leading other people. So it's super, super important to make sure that you get on these calls so you can tune in and then duplicate what I'm teaching you and what Rene's teaching you. So, guys, I want to thank everyone. We'll finish off the call now because it is 12:57 p.m. So if you guys do have any additional questions, you can always message myself or Rene or any of your My5, and we'll be more than happy to answer that for you. Anyways, guys, to the billion and forever who's going to be at convention, I will see you there. Take care and bye for now.